Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well this evening. Before I start, can you please let me know if you can see me and hear me well? Um, Today is the same thing as last week when I was providing the Spanish session. I wasn't able to see myself on the camera, and it's happening again. So please. Give me a thumbs up or let me know in the chat if you are able to see me. For some reason, it's letting me know that I don't have access to the camera, but last week people was able to see me. So I'm hoping it's the same case today. So I don't see any comments in the chat. Can someone please let me know if you can see me or hear me? Okay, give me a minute. I just want to verify that someone can see me. Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Kim, for letting me know. Last week I had the same issue where I cannot see myself on camera, so I'm not sure what's going on. This is different from the previous sessions, but thank you for letting me know. So with that, I would like to start with the session for today. Um, so thank you for joining me today. My name is Claudia Aly. I am a parent outreach coordinator with the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, or ISAC for short. This is another session for parents, and today I will be providing more updates regarding the FAFSA form and what happens once the FAFSA is submitted and processed. But before I continue, I would like to go over some housekeeping items. So this session is saved and shared on our YouTube page. So as a note, if you view this session after the live recording, there may be additional updates not included in this session. And as we can see, every month we have new updates. So it is important to check the studentaid.gov website for more information or additional updates. If you have questions during this session, you can use the Q&A or the chat option at the bottom of the right-hand side of your screen. Kim is on the line as well. She will be helping me answer those questions throughout the session. But if you don't have any questions today, or you have questions later regarding the session or anything regarding the college planning or financial aid process, please use the ISAC College Q&A service. This is a free text messaging service where you, as the parent or your student, can get answers to your questions via text message. To register, you can send us your first and last name to the number that will be provided in the chat. And then on a side note, there is also a Spanish line for those who need assistance in Spanish as well. And again, those two numbers will be provided on the chat. So as I mentioned, I am a parent outreach coordinator. I work with parents throughout the state, and I can schedule, meetings either virtually or in person as needed. These may sound repetitive from other sessions, but I think it's very important to be aware of the services our agency provides. And with that, I want to start by talking about ISAC and our mission. So the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, or ISAC, is a college access and financial aid agency here in the state that administers programs like grants and scholarship and other programs to help pay for college. And our mission is to provide Illinois students with information and assistance to help make education beyond high school accessible and affordable. Um, so, like I mentioned at the beginning, today I will be sharing more updates regarding the FAFSA form and some of the things that are happening once the FAFSA is submitted by the student. So, again, a high school, senior, and college students that need to complete the financial aid application known as the FAFSA or the free application for federal student aid. Um, to see if they are eligible for financial aid through state and federal programs, as well as the college that they are applying to. As some of you may know, as an alternative to the FAFSA, qualified undocumented students may also apply for Illinois financial aid through the alternative application. But today, I will continue talking about the FAFSA because some students are still, struggling to complete the application, especially those of mixed status families where one or both parents don't have a social security number. So we have been experiencing, different type of glitches with the system and other unexpected issues, but federal student aid remains working to get them resolved. So the first and main issue some parents were or have been experiencing was when creating their FSA ID account. For those parents without a social security number that are still in the process of creating an FSA ID and are able to get all the way to step 7 of creating the FSA ID but unable to verify their identity, when answering the identity questions, they will get a message saying that an email with case number will be sent. So this email is sent automatically to the parent with the case number that is needed to complete the verification process. Now there is no need to contact the FSA Information Center to obtain that number. So for those parents who try to create their FSA ID at the beginning of last month or even in the previous months and were instructed to call to verify their identity, but they haven't been able to go through the call, I would suggest to contact them through the chat option. We have learned this is the fastest option to contact FSA. So again, if you were trying to call to verify your identity, you can use the chat option and ask for your case number. We have also learned that the case number to manually verify your identity should start with MANVER, MANVER. And this is just for your reference for when you either call or chat. Again, the chat option seems to work better. We have also heard that if you call early in the morning, you have better chances of getting someone on the line. But again, you can use the chat option as well. So your case number along with the attestation form and instructions will be sent to you via email. When your case number is sent to you, you should complete the attestation form, including the case number that will be provided. Please make sure that the documents you're sending to verify your identity are acceptable documents and that they're not expired. There will be a list of approved documents for your reference. Also, make sure the attestation form is signed because FSA has not yet notified parents if something is missing or an unapproved document was sent. So it is important to be on top of this piece to avoid further delays. As we all know, we have been having delays this year, and it's affecting our students. So once the correct documents are sent, the FSA ID verification process should not take more than 2 weeks. So if you submitted your documentation and it's been more than 2 weeks, I heard some families that have been waiting for over a month. So you should follow up with FSA. Again, chat option works best, but you can also call and give it a try. Now, what happens once the identity is verified? So creating your FSA ID, and for those getting their identity verified is the first step. So the next step is to complete the FAFSA. There is a lot of confusion with families when sometimes when they call and ask for assistance in order for them to let me know what step they are, they get confused as like when they're creating their FSA ID, they think they are already in the FAFSA, but these are two separate steps. So the creating the FSA ID is the first one. The second will be completing the FAFSA. For some parents, those identity whose identity was verified, I heard some of them were unable to get into the student's FAFSA. In some cases, it was taking them back to accept the invitation. In some other cases, some parents are sent to, once they click the accept the invitation from the student, they are sent to the 2023-24 FAFSA form, but these issues has been resolved. So on March 12th, the Department of Education announced that they have corrected these issues to allow these parents without Social Security number to complete the application. The only two things to keep in mind are that number one, students must enter their parents' personal information in the contributor invitation exactly as the parent entered it when they created their FSA ID account. So spelling, abbreviations, and punctuation need to match exactly. Also check for extra spaces with a name or city. So for instance, when the parent created their FSA ID for the address, maybe they entered, let's say 2800 North California Avenue, abbreviating the North with just the end, or Avenue with just AVE. That is how the student should enter it when sending the invitation to the parent. Also check for extra spaces with the names, or the city, like I mentioned, because a lot of times they either by mistake they enter two spaces in between words, in between the name and the last name, and that will cause the not matching when the student is sending the invite. So I would suggest to compare your information in your FSA ID account with the parent contributor information your child is entering before sending that invite to you. And number two, to keep in mind is that the system is not able to retrieve the IRS data for parents without Social Security number. So this means that you would have to enter your tax information manually. So it is necessary to have your 2022 taxes with you. And I will repeat, you will be using your 2022 taxes to complete the 2024-25 FAFSA. You will still have to provide consent. Otherwise, your student will only be eligible to receive student loans. I have parents who did not provide a consent, and that is causing, that the student will only be eligible for student loans. Now, for parents or students who have completed the FAFSA in the past, who this is not the first year, but they don't remember their credentials and are not able to get their FSA ID reset through either the security questions, their phone, or their email, they can recover their account through the recovery option page at studentaid.gov, and the direct link will also be shared in the chat. The process to retrieve or to recover your account will take approximately 15 minutes after the appropriate identification information required is uploaded. Now, another important update is that FSA started processing batches of the submitted FAFSA applications about 3 weeks ago. So your students, can start getting notifications soon about this process, and until the backlog of applications has been cleared, the process to make corrections for the 2024-25 FAFSA will be available. So any student who needs to make updates or corrections to their FAFSA, like adding colleges or providing signatures or making any type of correction, will not be able to do so until all of the FAFSA applications are processed. They had notified us, I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that correcting these FAFSAs were going to be available in the first half of April. So this is just the beginning of the month, but I would keep an eye on the status of your FAFSA application. So applicants may check their status of their FAFSA on studentaid.gov. So once they log in, students should be able to see the status as either draft, in progress, in review, processed, or action required. So, for example, if you see that your student FAFSA is in progress, that means that um, you and the student provided, your consent, approval, and signature to their corresponding sections of the FAFSA, but the FAFSA form has not been submitted yet. So pay attention to those little details. If your FAFSA is in review, that means that you have submitted your form and that your application is still processing. And then when it says that it's in process, your application was processed successfully. No further action is needed. But then if you see that the status of the FAFSA is action required, that means that your application requires, further action from either you, the parent, or the student. And you need to follow up to resolve, whatever the issue might be. On a side note, I want you to be aware that it is recommended that you use Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, if you're using this is the desktop version, or Google Chrome when you're trying to log into your account. Safari or I believe Edge browsers will give you issues when logging in. So this is just in case, something is not loading for you or you get an error message. Even when a FAFSA form has been submitted. If the status of your student's FAFSA is processed, like I mentioned, your student will be able to view the FAFSA submission summary. So this was previously known student aid report. For those students who applied for financial aid in the past, the FAFSA submission summary was known as the SAR, or the student aid report. If the FAFSA submission summary is ready, it is important to pay attention to 4 different tabs, especially to the FAFSA form answers, because that's where you will be able to see the answers you or your student provided in the FAFSA form. So the different tabs that you will be able to review in the FAFSA submission summary are eligibility overview, FAFSA form answers, school information, and next steps. So those are the 4 different tabs that the student will be able to see once the FAFSA submission summary is ready. Again, review this information and follow instructions to make corrections if you need to. For instance, adding a school, adding signatures. If for any reason the application was submitted without being signed or any correction you need to make, this will be the time to do it. Remember, students should be able to make corrections during the first half of this month. Hopefully after the 15th of this month, students can do those corrections. Another update for today's session is that at the beginning of last month, FSA started sending FAFSA information to the schools the student included in their FAFSA application. So once the financial aid office receives this information, a financial aid administrator will put a financial aid package to the student. And I believe I also mentioned the importance of the financial aid offers in the previous session as well. This is important to know because all the different schools the student applied to will be sending these financial aid offers, and they will include information on the type of financial aid they are offering to your student. So remember, this is just an offer, and even if this financial aid offer is including student loans, you are the one who decide whether you want them or not, right? So they will be offering you different types of financial aid, and you decide which of those those types you want to accept. So I know money or how to pay for college is a big factor for all of us. It is for me. I have a senior, and this is one of our concerns. But when deciding what school to choose, it is important for you and your student to carefully evaluate these offers to make an informed decision. Later, hopefully, we can have more details about financial aid offers. Hopefully we can have another YouTube session where we can go over this information as well. So I understand that many students have been impacted by the FAFSA issues and delays, especially those, again, whose parents do not have a social security number, and that there is, so much concern about submitting the FAFSA application on time. For those who don't know, if the college has a deadline in place, or a priority deadline, please advise your student to visit their website or to contact the school. Like I mentioned in the past, some schools have moved their priority deadline, but it is important for your student, to confirm that this information is true for the schools that they're interested in. So I know that there are students trying to complete, their financial aid application, especially because it is a requirement for high school graduation. So I want to share an additional resource that I have not shared in the past YouTube live events. This is also a resource through us. The ISAC core members are recent college graduates who are trained as soon as they get hired with us to assist students in the college planning and financial aid process. The ISAC core members are located in different areas in Illinois, and you can connect with your local core member by going to the ISAC student portal, and we will also share the link in the chat. You will only enter the zip code. Once you click on the student portal, you type your zip code, and you will be provided with the contact information of the ISAC core member in your area. Another resource that I want to share with you today is the Family Action Network events, known as the FAN. Family Action Network is a nonprofit organization that curates a high-quality speaker series offered for free to the public. Some of these are ISAC-sponsored events, and most of them are offered via Zoom at 7 p.m. There is also in-person events, but even if you can attend or you can't join virtually, you can watch them later on their website or their YouTube channel. For all of you who were able to join today, thank you so much for taking the time and trying to find, different ways to support your students for upcoming YouTube events. I invite you to visit our YouTube page and share, this information with others around you. There might be other people who are not aware of this YouTube live events, and it would be helpful to share with them. For more information about ISAC, the programs and services we provide, you can go to isac.org. And then with this, I will move on to the Q&A. Again, if you don't have questions now, but you need assistance later, you can contact us via the ISAC College Q&A service. There is, the English number 847-243-6470. And then there is also the Spanish line 773-823-0570. If you have questions now, please feel free to type in the Q&A. In the meantime, I will be sharing some of the links that I think are useful for you. Is there any questions? Okay, so someone is saying that they're only missing a signature, so waiting for corrections to open. Yes, that's correct. We have to wait. So hopefully, after April 15, you're able to do so. But I would also suggest to keep an eye on your account and see if you can do those corrections. Some We have heard that some students are not receiving an email letting them know that the FAFSA submission summary is ready. So I would suggest you to go to your account and check the status of your FAFSA. So I am sharing with you some of the links for information that I mentioned. So for the fan events, they're not related to the FAFSA or the financial aid, but I think they are very helpful for students and families to, just to have an idea of what is being offered. Okay, so if there is no more questions, this concludes our session for today. We will be, planning another session for later this month. So hopefully you can join us again. Thank you so much, and have a good night.